I thought that we should deal with the issue of Minister Robertshaw's resignation. I have to say I'm sorry to see him go. I did value the work that he undertook, certainly a driving force for change within the Cabinet Office. But managing change is always difficult, and we will continue to change and drive forward the agenda for change. I respect what he's done, and I'd like to thank him for everything that he's done. He certainly laid very good framework. Now, we've acting in consultation with the Chief Minister, I made the decision that I would offer the appointment to my colleague John Shimmin. I'm delighted to say that John has accepted. He brings valuable experience to the Cabinet, and I'm sure that he will continue the good work which has been started by Chris. So I don't think there's going to be any change. We will focus on driving forward changes within government to make it more efficient, leaner, and to reflect the financial circumstances in which we now find ourselves. So with that, I'll take any questions, and John will as well.
You moved very quickly on this. Presumably the resignation was a surprise to you. And this has all happened during the course of today. The appointment?
Yes, it was. Yeah, basically we moved quickly, decisively. I wouldn't like anybody to think that because the Chief Minister was indisposed that we were rudderless. We're not. The team is still here, and it's important that we maintain the team so that we can continue to push forward. We have a lot of work on at the moment, and the team we have is working well together, and John will make a very valuable contribution as part of that team.
Is 6 months after his resignation perhaps too early to bring him back as a minister?
No, of course not. I feel that John did the honourable thing. He's an honourable man. He's got considerable experience, and I know that he can make a positive contribution. He's already working in the Cabinet Office, so he knows the issues there. He's worked with Mr. Robertshaw, so he knows what the priorities are, and he's also worked with us before. So I feel that John will make a very positive contribution.
Will another politician have to come in to do the job that Mr. Shimmin was seconded from DED to do?
We'll discuss that as time goes by, but at the moment I felt it was important that we moved to, as it were, make the appointment. And I think that we have moved forward quickly. I didn't want a period of uncertainty because uncertainty doesn't help government, nor does it help the general mood in the public as well.
You should do a dance.
So we're going to start with
Mr.
questions.
Shimmin, surprised to be back?
Absolutely. I don't think anybody here, or indeed the public or politically, would have expected this to have happened. I was quite happily working under Mr. Robertshaw in policy and reform, and this was totally out of the blue. So I'm pleased to be back as part of the team, but it's not exactly the way I would have liked it to have happened.
Obviously it's a very hard brief. Are you apprehensive about what lies ahead of you?
I don't think so, in as much that I've been a minister for over 12 years and I've worked in many of the areas that we're currently working through over that period of time. I think the progress that Mr. Robertshaw has made is considerable. I think the focus I will be giving in the early stages is to focus on the government aspect of this, that is the culture change that he has started the debate about has got to be progressed and moved quickly. That is something we've said from the start of this administration. As far as I'm concerned, it is time to be pragmatic, see what we can change, the culture, the attitude, but the reassurance to the business community and the public that we will continue to make decisions, and difficult decisions, in the time ahead.
Will you be talking to Mr. Robertshaw?
I've communicated with Mr. Robertshaw. I've spoken to Mr. Bell this morning. It is something, when I first saw the announcement this morning in the early hours on one of the TV stations, you'll be pleased to know, Paul, And it was about 1 o'clock this morning I saw that. If you look through, the least disruptive way of progressing this is by bringing myself from the policy and reform in as the Minister. I'm grateful for the confidence in the Chief Minister to have done that. However, I'm aware that members of the public and indeed Tynwald will be concerned about the speed at which I've been brought back in. I hope I've learnt a little bit of humility. I will work with others, and it'll be up to others to assess whether I can actually deal with this in an appropriate way. I think I can, but that's for others to judge.
What do you think
Chris
of Mr.
Robertshaw.
Go for it.
Chris Robertshaw highlighted one of the problems that he had was trying to get things done without departments, ministers standing in the way. How do you make his benefits to him?
Well, I think part of the reason I was brought into the department or the policy and cabinet office area was to try and assist Chris in doing just that. He was working at the highest level with the big debate and had been doing an awful lot of work in that area publicly. And what maybe is needing a concentration of is to work with other ministers and government departments to actually break it down at more local levels in the departments of government to say we will work better together. That's why I was brought in. That's what I've been doing for the last couple of months. I hope to continue that, whilst also picking the brains of Mr. Robertshaw and others to get up to speed on some of the larger issues that he was tackling. They haven't gone away. I think what Mr. Robertshaw has identified over his time in this position is the need to get a genuine grown-up debate amongst the people of the Isle of Man that things have to change. I'm grateful for what he's done. I will attempt to do justice to that by building on it.
Because the system's not working.
I think that any system is made up of people. I think in order to change that system, you've got to bring the people with you. I think that's where Mr. Robertshaw was finding it frustrating that people weren't moving at the speed he wanted to move. I will attempt to learn from those experiences and see if we can make better progress.
I was pretty much going to ask what Adrian has just covered.
Good.
Do you disagree with Mr. Robertshaw's reasons for leaving? He's saying it's clunky, it doesn't work, but everyone's reluctant to change.
I think there's always a difficulty that you have with any structure like a government, that they are easily criticised but difficult to actually change. I think the idea of a small group of politicians and civil servants to bring about the changes necessary was always going to be a clunky process. I hope that that will then be continued over my time and whoever follows me in a way which actually makes significant benefits for the people of the island. I really do think we have got good grounding for the changes necessary. I think we will build on that, and I'm confident that the Chief Minister will come back into his position. I think Council of Ministers will work as a team, and what I hope to see following on from the budget and beyond is the Tynwald pulls together in the best interest of the public. I realise I have a mountain to climb in re-establishing any confidence in the public and the business community. I will do my best to have learned from the experiences I've had, but I think we've got to start working better as a team. I think that's the point Mr. Robertshaw is making. I'll try and see if I can build on it.
I think Mr. Robertshaw also says that he's worried that the decisions aren't getting made because people are too busy thinking ahead to a general election in 18 months' time. Would you agree with that?
I know some of them very much are, but some of them were from the start of the election 3.5 years ago. The reality is that we have a small parliament, we have an election in about 16 to 18 months, and I think the amount we can achieve between now and then is enormous. I think that our job is to actually make the public believe once again in their government. If we can get them to believe that the government is changing, then I think anybody going towards next election will have a better platform, and that's whether it be candidates or the existing sitting members.
Do you think housing should go into the cabinet?
It's not an area, because this has been a matter of Council of Ministers. I've yet to read all the papers on these matters, therefore I will take the Fourth Amendment on that and wait until I've understood it a bit better.